is allowing New Jersey to remain economically competitive with other states. New Jersey is a border state. We have 3 or 4 different neighbors: Pennsylvania, New York, Connecticut, Delaware. We have to be very attentive to what's happening outside our borders. Liquor license reform is a big one. That everything you've heard here, amenities, young folks, old folks like to go out for a drink, meet with their friends after work. So if you can create an environment that has access to bars, restaurants where you can get a drink after work, that's a good thing. Right now, New Jersey's laws with liquor license are very archaic. It's very expensive to obtain a liquor license in some locales, in the millions of dollars. So that doesn't bode well for the future redevelopment of these older communities. Infrastructure funding is huge. Every time I talk to the governor, I bring that up. I ask him to do something very bold in his next term, if that's to happen, with transportation in particular. We can also do a lot with our water supply and water treatment, power, as we've seen with Sandy. I mean, you as towns certainly are struggling with your tax revenues, and to ignore these very looming threats would be, I think, irresponsible if I was a town official. One of the things you should consider looking into, we had heard a presentation a couple days ago by David Zimmer, who heads up the Environmental Infrastructure Trust, which I never really thought a whole lot about, but they do provide funding to local municipalities to eliminate your infiltration and inflow problems, to reduce your water usage. It'll reduce your water bills, your water treatment bills. It'll allow for more growth. There's also legislation pending for the EIT to expand its powers to provide similar funding for transportation and power, which would be available to local municipalities. So you should really give that some thought. And lastly, the last policy issue I would address would be we're working on lowering energy costs and reducing energy consumption, increasing energy efficiencies, making those programs and monies available to owners of older office space. There's a lot of vacant office buildings out there right now. They've got archaic energy systems. If the state could incentivize the owners of those buildings to install, better energy equipment, it would lower the energy costs. It would attract tenants. So that, to me, is a win-win. It would help with the vacancies in some of these areas.